Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Today we're talking about this great idea by White99, discussion about spell features that would make us feel deeply immersed in the wizarding world, and some ideas that you guys have come up with. We're going to be talking about some of the technologies that are available in the AR world that we may not have come into contact directly through Niantic, but are getting widely shown within different platforms. So whether it be shopping, whether it be designing, we're going to be looking at some of those technologies and how in the wizarding world they would really just feel as more immersed in it. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Here we discuss anything related to Harry Potter mobile gaming. So currently we cover Hogwarts Mystery a lot, but Wizards Unite, anticipating the release of that, and we are discussing any updates that we get. Any information about it will be put out on this channel, so if you want to keep up to date with any of that, hit the subscribe button. So White99, L-White99 off Reddit says, Niantic's real-world platform promises to be revolutionary, but let's share some interesting ideas about our personal vision of the wizarding world. Here are the features I'd like to have in the possible near future. Now, whether this is going to directly influence their ideas in terms of creation right now, I don't think so. But actually, when we create a community where we discuss these ideas, eventually they hear us. The more we discuss these things, the more widely known they become, and potentially some of these features, if you're talking about Hogwarts Mystery, is they took the features that we wanted and did create them. In the wizarding world, I think they're going to be a hell of a lot more capabilities, being that the AR technology is building upon what they have in Pokemon Go. So, since our Wizarding Unite world, since in our Wizarding Unite our world is supposed to be the game board, I think it would be nicely immersive if spells like Expecto Patronum, edit with customizable corporeal forms, and Lumos were castable everywhere at any time in AR Plus mode. So, 2 points here. Lumos, right? So, this is through, I think you can set it up on your phone. I've tried to do it through my Google Assistant, or maybe Bixby will allow it. I hate Bixby. But for the one thing, can Bixby be good at anything? Bixby. No, look how slow Bixby is. I have Bixby massively turned off because I just kept hitting the button. Do I have to set this up? I don't want to set you up. I'm not going to set it up, but I think if you use Google Assistant, it doesn't work. Lumos. I think you can set it up though. It looks like this device hasn't been set up yet, so I don't use Google that much. So I think you can. I've had it set up on my iPhone before, but it doesn't work. I tried it a couple of minutes ago. So that is something that is already available. So you can try it with your phone, see if it does work. And you can also do knocks as well, which is pretty cool. But the corporeal forms, your Patronus. So there's a massive difficulty here in that there are so many variants on different Patronuses people have. Mine is a dolphin, and you got bears, you got dogs, you got cats, different types of cats. So all of these things, they would have to create an individual spell like they have on Pottermore, that not only Pottermore's 2D form, actually might be 3D. Just trying to think. I think it might be 3D, but they'd have to do that for every single individual Patronus. Now that's a hell of a lot of work, but I massively agree that this would be one of the, for me, this would be one of the most personally inclusive things. We've been asking for it at Hogwarts Mystery, but it's never come. Just because I think the amount of work that go into it, for them the reward probably isn't there. If you had to pay for a Patronus to be able to make that visible, if it was $2.99, I'd buy it. I'd buy my own Patronus, and it'd be great if they included Pottermore within that. But they have explicitly said you will not have your own corporeal Patronus. It will not be. It looks like it will just be there won't even be a form. It will just be the same kind of colour spell coming out, I think, because we saw it used in one of the trailers with Harry against when Harry was being attacked by Dementor. So I think those two things would make it. The Lumos, to be honest, the Lumos would actually become really handy, because how many times, if you've played AR games, have you been out in the night time when it gets dark and I find myself going through woods where there's no lights, and I have to put it on anyway. So it'd be just a nice, and that would be, let's face it, that would be easier to create compared to the Patronus. Next, we see, considering the material that Niantic showed at DICE Summit 2019, it would be fantastic if we could produce spells which interact with real objects, like Wingardium Leviosa, Reductor, Incendio, even Portus to create portkeys around the real objects. Here are examples of the technology, so we'll look at that in a minute. But if we discuss about how these might be implemented. So Wingardium Leviosa, you would have to aim that at an object, maybe select it, and be able to then make it rise. I don't think there'll be a problem with getting that object. I do think there'll be an object with then causing the real object to disappear. That would be the hardest feat, because you have to know what's behind the object, and that you won't be able to do that. So I don't think Wingardium Leviosa will be capable. It'd be too complex. But some of the technology that he's listed here, or he or she has listed here, is good evidence of that it's possible to do the actual taking of an object and raise it. Reducio would be, the ability to shrink an object and increase the size of an object. That's possible. The increased size probably would be better, because you'd be stamping over it, and therefore it would eliminate the object before. So here we see two pictures of bread, and you could reduce one, but when you reduced it, you'd see the other one behind it. Increase it, it would look more realistic. Engorgio would be the charm there. Incendio, causing fire, that's definitely one that would be easy. So you could just use green type flame. They could have a custom thing within that might cause something to become on fire. And creating portkeys, so using porters to create portkeys, that could be possible. I don't see why that wouldn't work. You could just create an object, but it looks like we're going to have objects that we use as portkeys, and I think they might be either findable or purchasable. But it'd be way more realistic if you buy the ability to do Portus on, or buy the energy to cast Portus, and you can pick an object, and then from that a portal would open. That'd look way more realistic. So these are two clips that show the technologies that he's using as an example, and they demonstrate quite nicely. The first one demonstrates really nicely about some of the charms that you could potentially cast on objects. So this is technology that allows you, so we'll switch to my other landscape. This is technology that allows you to copy and paste objects in real time. So here you see the augmented technology scanning an object, looking from different angles. The function of this in real life is that, in terms of shopping, you could scan an object in a shop and ask somebody to put it down in their home and see what it's like. As I said before, you can see here where taking the object may not be the greatest difficulty. Eliminating the other one would be the hardest thing. You would have to really be able to pick the object up, let it scan the area, take a picture of that, and then put it down, which would just be too complex, and I think you'd lose the magic at that point. But in terms of, are there any spells that double? I don't think you can. I don't recall any spells that actually cause the double of something to duplicate. But it'd be a cool little bit of technology if you could. I mean, look, you can easily use Engorgio there, and it'd be great to see it'd be great to see some challenges behind that. Some of the challenges that we might see within, to get past a certain cursed vault, you need to use Engorgio on an object, and then use that to fit within a certain, I don't know, anything, hole, or you've got to increase its size, different objects to. So there's loads of different challenges that you could potentially create around that. Whether we'd see it, I don't know. It doesn't look like too complex technology. The scanning object there does seem a bit, though. What we saw there is the object being increased in size, and one thing we know about technology at the moment in relation to AR capabilities is that one of the things for me that makes it very unrealistic is that period of scanning. The fact in Pokemon Go, when you take a snapshot, you have to scan the floor rather than just aim and go, which I understand, like, it's a very complex thing for the phone to work out, but that little gap of scanning for me takes away some of that reality and makes it less immersive. But yeah, it'd be interesting to hear some people's ideas about how that would be potentially transferable into the Wizarding World. It states that Hanky said that we have a nice tool chest of features and technologies. That was at the DICE Summit 2019. I really hope he was referring to real objects interactions. And so I think, you know, we've already seen some of the, if you haven't seen some of the Niantic acquisitions in terms of the technology that they've acquired, occlusion technology, codename Neon, Tonehenge, there's a video that I'd done a while back, and this shows off some of those technologies. Some of them are really interesting. Some of them look a little bit more day one applicable, i.e. the technology is there for those to potentially be put into place. Other things, if you've seen Codename Neon, which is the battling system, we know that's not going to be there. PvP isn't going to be in Wizards Unite. Full stop is what they sounded like they said, but I think in the future there's got to be that application for that once 5G technology catches up. And edit 360 AR even while casting spells. Yeah, I mean, that could work. There's Ghostbusters World, I believe, has the ability to do 360 spin of the world whilst keeping the thing running around you, so it moves location. So that's definitely practical. But what I also like in this thread is some of the ideas that people have come up with. So we've got the S-Lumos anywhere, it should turn on my phone's flashlight. Knocks for turning it off as well. Port keys like they have shown up, but had to jump to a friend's location to help with the raid or whatever from anywhere. That would probably lower the number of spoofers by a lot. Yep, agreed, that would be good. What would be really nice is port keys that I'd like to be able to, not just port keys, sorry, to go into the real world and find objects. You know, like geocaching, where there are actual realistic objects that have been placed. Wouldn't it be amazing if, I think it would just add to the excitement, the idea if scattered around the world, Warner Brothers they've buried, you know, treasure in real life locations where there are rewards, real life rewards, money. It could be, you know, related to Warner Brothers. They could have, you know, exclusive meetup with Newt Scamander, just scattered around the world. Make them really rare and almost impossible to find, but have some puzzle system that makes it really hard to find them or really rare to find them, that if you do, you can get some real life reward. I think things like that do make the world, they make it more immersive, because you actively are seeking something out in the real world that is realistically there, that once you find it using the AR capabilities, you can pick it up. And I think that could be like something that they used to encourage AR play, as in, okay, well, you can only access this potential chance at seeing these things or getting it on the radar if you're using AR capabilities. So something that kind of furthers your need to use AR capabilities, but with the real life reward. That's what I would love to see. I don't think they're going to bring that out, but I think there's a reason why some people actually do geocaching as a hobby, because there's things out there that you can actually go get and see in the real world. Because the Patronus, yeah, limit to a reasonable number of animals, but still, that is one way that they could deal with that, in that, okay, my corporeal form is a dolphin, but I'm probably not gonna have a dolphin created, and there's so many variants that maybe they could just say, okay, there's 4 types of Patronus which most fits your style. So you could have the lion, they could fit a kind of house. You could have corporeal forms in like a badger, a raven, a snake, and a lion, and all these things you could just see through a questionnaire that's which do you fit more with. Pets, maybe the zoologist job can have higher level ones or things to do. So pets are a thing in Hogwarts Mystery, and it works all right now. It used to be that you'd build them up and like Tamagotchi style, feeding them and bonding with them, and there was no reward at the end. But if they adapt it like Hogwarts Mystery did, after we fed this back to them, they gave some reward to having them fully leveled up. And it'd be nice to see if they had that once you've captured some of these or enough of them, enough of the foundables, that then you can create them or save some, because we are sending them back to their timeline, which means we wouldn't actually physically have them. So it'd be interesting to see how they do that, you know, because you're not going to get these objects physically. It's not like Pokemon. It doesn't sound like you're going to catch them, but I wonder if you still get to keep an essence of them and use that to battle. And imagine that there would be, but I don't know actually, because I think that obviously you're just leveling up your skills as a wizard, and that's what you're battling to take down raids. If you don't have those things, those collectibles that you're actually acquiring physically, they're just badges that say you've got them. It'd be interesting to see how that feels playing the game. Anything to do with those YouTube videos that looks sick. Doubtful we'll get anything like the second video though, unless Niantic does it with a special physical object, like Pokego Plus or maybe a wand that is designed specifically for it. So we'll look at that in a minute after these next two. Wizard's Chest, bonus points if I can play on any physical chessboard. Yeah, bonus points. And if I can pause the game for hours, days, etc., come back to it and it still be there, you've saved your game and the way they lay it out. That would be good. Goofy, fun objects like Weasley's fireworks, not for any specific use or gain to gain levels or anything, just magical objects around to acquire and use for fun. Yeah, that would be cool. That you can maybe use in AR photos and add and do different things that make it seem. Let's look at the next one. Could do different things that just make your AR photos pretty funny. Right, so this is the next technology. This guy showed up. So what we see here is an object. It looks like this object is mapped out via some of the AR capabilities. I don't think the pad, I first thought it would be mapped by the pad, but that is just a normal notepad, as you can see the binders at the edge. But what we have here is the object has been scanned, and then you can in AR make adjustments to it. So here you can see, do an X-ray of the car, look inside the car. You can also change the colors of it. I don't know what that actually does, but you've got colors on. Let's say Accende Luci. Accende Luci. Anybody? That's not Spanish. But you can change the colors of it, and it'd be nice to have physical objects that you could interact with. That would probably have to come in contact with foundables in the real world, and that's where again this technology would be sweet with exactly what I was saying before, of real life things that you can find that have been hidden around the world, that when you find and locate them you could interact with them. Imagine finding something like this in the wild, and you have to engage in a certain set of commands to unlock its features. Imagine if this was a little chest, right? And you pick it up, and instead of changing colors, what we're actually trying to do is change the combination of the lock on it, changing the combination to find it. And there may be loads of different variations, or there might be clues towards it. You might find in another spot a note that has some, gives us some sense of what the clue is, and that would just be so good if they did that. That would be, it's a little bit above and beyond what we've ever seen, I think, and therefore I don't think it's something that we will see necessarily, but it would be great. That's just how you could make the game so much more immersive, and they really need to hammer down on this aspect. There's a reason why people are talking about this before the games come out, because we want this game to be realistic. We want it to feel immersive, and if you have things that connect the world to what you see on your screen, the more connected it feels. And I think it's going to be, Pokemon Go should be all about the game and the content, but I'd like to see this game being about the experience of AR and see that being utilized in so many different ways that we've never seen before, that will make it stand out. And I truly believe that's what we will see. I think this game is, what we've seen already is just the kind of tip of the iceberg. That's what they've shown us. But I think there are going to be things like cursed vaults and things, mysteries to crack. In the storyline, we're going to get pieces of information, and it would be nice to see different technologies like this. I think Stonehenge is one of the closest to this. So you're taking not real life objects, but you are mapping out an area where it creates AR objects and you can move them in your environment, and somebody else can move another one, and so you're working together to solve a puzzle. So that would be nice. Dreaming is not a crime. Consider this post as a peaceful request to Niantic. Yes. I'm glad to find so many creative people here. Everything you said is perfect and detailed. I had only a hide virtual wand setting. For those who use a capacitive real wand, e.g. a stylus pen. Okay. In this beautiful era of augmented reality, it would be a pity if we don't free the full potential of that technology. And since the game will be released this summer, Niantic's got enough time to push AR technology to its limits in order to surprise us. Agreed. Can I discuss this in the video? Hey, sure. You have to. You have to. I really like your videos. Oh, nice one. Thanks, White. Pretty sure Niantic staff always watch your videos. That would be nice if they did. Niantic, put all these things into place. Everything. And you smashed it. Might need a bit of work to do well. I really need to want to use the gyro controls to cast spells. It would feel even cooler if we could buy a Bluetooth wand accessory that's connected to your phone to cast spells that way. So as it stands, we have no information on the equivalent of a Pokemon Go Plus item. So Pokemon Go Plus is the Pokemon Go similar coat, but you just use it to catch Pokemon and turn Pokestops to get some items. And we haven't heard anything on the wands front. Now there's a game called Magus, and that is it's a well-crafted game, and it would fit some of the wizarding world very well. But you've got magical gestures that you spell out, you cast spells. The battling system is fairly quite good, but it just wasn't. It didn't feel good for me, and it didn't reach the successes of what I think they hoped to do. And it was actually a I can't remember what a GoFundMe or type thing where, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called, but it's where loads of people say like, okay, we're going to create this product, and if you put £10, you'll get this, £100, you'll get free credit. And one of the criteria was that they were going to have wands to be able to cast and draw out some of these spells. And they released it, and I don't think it hit the success that they needed to. Therefore, they weren't able to fill those offers. They weren't able to offer people a wand. I think they ended up offering credit in terms of the game, which you'd be kind of gutted about, because if the game didn't take off, you might stop playing it. And so they went in with the idea of making the wands, and it didn't hit the success. So it would make sense to be a clever decision to wait a while before putting those in place, which they did for Pokemon Go Plus. That wasn't out day one. It took a while, and then they were out. And the way they did it is, they released a batch, and then they were like, okay, we need to create more. So they were quite hard to get hold of at first, and in that process, it makes more business sense to run it like that. I would love to see a Bluetooth wand accessory. I think that would just make the game again even more immersive. And it would be quite cool to. One of the things with the Pokemon Go Plus, although you can like hide it, is if you saw people, you can see people using it, and it's quite good. If you see somebody going, obviously it used to be like this. You see somebody doing that they're playing Pokemon Go, but it was just another thing to be like, oh, that guy's playing Pokemon Go. And with Wizards Unite, I'd like to see that as well, to be able to see something that somebody's got and go, oh, they've got Wizards Unite, and then be like, oh, do you want to do that raid or fortress, which is the equivalent in this game. So lots of potentials that they could do to make the game way better in terms of the AR capabilities, take advantage of everything they've got. And I do believe that what we've seen in the gameplay is just the tip of the iceberg. I do believe that all these technologies that they've been talking about, that they've been showcasing. Niantic went to Berlin, I think it was in Berlin that they showed off their technology, the codename Neon. So they weren't going to show off Wizards Unite features. They were going off to show this really high-tech ability. Now, if you are a company and you have investors and you want to keep those investors and gain more investors, it does make sense to show your best technology and hold and maybe not showcase the lesser technologies. I don't think we're getting Codename Neon, but some of the things that they've shown, they've had them there for ages. And the occlusion technology, you know, if you look at the Pokemon Go snapshot, some of that technology is being used in that you place it and hide behind something, and it sits behind an object, sits in real space location, and that shows that technology is there. Therefore, we should hopefully see that in Wizards Unite ready to use. And I believe that the Tonehenge technology, I think day one, that will be something that we can access as well. So let me know your thoughts about what other things would you like to see. I might do a video on all our ideas. So if you've got an idea about one thing that you would love to see in the game that you think is practical, even if it's not practical, what would you like to see in Wizards Unite? Pop in the comments section below and I might use it in a video in the future. Okay, well that's all for this one. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, please hit the like button and hit subscribe if you want to keep up to date with future content and information. That's all for me. See you guys soon.